Welcome to this explainer. Today we're zeroing in on a fascinating little detail in our everyday communication that, honestly, most of us completely miss. Look, we all have these small autopilot phrases we use constantly, but what if I told you they are secretly broadcasting deep insecurity without you even realizing it? Well, the good news is, by making a few really simple, intentional Stoic shifts in your vocabulary, you can instantly project calm authority and true emotional maturity. Okay, let's jump right into this. We spend so much time and energy sweating over big presentations, stressing out about major pitches or crucial arguments, that we totally let our everyday casual conversations run on pure autopilot. And when we just rely on these unconscious habits, our words kind of become empty. We end up sounding totally disengaged or unsure of ourselves. Just ask yourself, when someone looks you right in the eye and thanks you, are you actually present in that exact moment? Or are you just blindly repeating a polite script you memorized when you were 5 years old?
And that perfectly illustrates the core Stoic philosophy we're unpacking today. Ancient thinkers, like the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius, taught that true awareness actually begins in the smallest details. Character isn't just about the big actions you take, it's deeply tied to exactly what you say. Words aren't just invisible sounds that fade into the air. They're incredibly powerful signals of your intention, your presence, and your clarity. Because if you aren't intentional with your words, you're quietly broadcasting a total lack of awareness to everyone around you.
So let's look at our first category, the casual shifts. This is all about upgrading our daily interactions from automatic reactions to intentional responses. Think about it. When someone thanks you, you're welcome is the absolute automatic default, right? And sure, it's polite, but it's also a little cold. Instead, try making this shift to, "It was my pleasure." It seems tiny, but it completely changes the entire tone of the interaction. Instead of just shutting the moment down, you're showing the other person that helping them wasn't just some boring obligation, but something you were genuinely happy to do. It takes you from a person just checking a social box into a really warm receiver of their gratitude. Let's look at another super common scenario. You arrive a few minutes late to a meeting or grabbing coffee with a friend, and most of us immediately just blurt out, "Sorry, I'm late." But there is a much more elegant way to handle that exact same moment. "Thank you for waiting. I appreciate your patience." Do you feel the difference there? The first one makes it all about you, your mistake, your guilt. But the second one, it actually validates their kindness. It beautifully transforms what could be a really awkward, apologetic moment into a moment of mutual respect.
Oh, and then there's this one. We have all been trapped in this endless, agonizing loop of indecision. You know the classic. Where do you want to eat? I don't know. Where do you want to eat? It is so frustrating. And when you finally just give up, shrug your shoulders, and say, whatever, you literally kill the energy in the room. It just sounds apathetic, disengaged, and completely indifferent.
But actively handing over the choice changes the game entirely. Instead of a dismissive whatever, try offering actual trust. Say, "You choose, I trust your taste." This specific phrasing communicates such a calm, cool confidence. You instantly avoid sounding indecisive while simultaneously validating the other person's opinion. These small, deliberate gestures of trust actively strengthen your relationships.
All right, that brings us to category 2, the competent shifts. These are all about projecting an unshakable sense of true confidence, especially when you're faced with the unknown.
Imagine being asked to do a task you've never tackled before. The knee-jerk reaction for most of us is just, "I don't know." But if you shift that to, "I can learn it quickly," you are demonstrating a supreme growth mindset. It instantly proves to the person asking that you aren't boxed in by your current knowledge. Instead of giving them a dead end, you're building a bridge. It makes you look highly capable, open, and incredibly reliable.
Let me ask you to visualize something real quick. Picture the absolute smartest, most highly capable people you know. When they get asked a question and they don't have the immediate answer, do they panic? Do they awkwardly shut down the dialogue and just mumble their way out of the room? No way. They use that gap in their knowledge as a tool to actually pull you deeper into the conversation.
And the way they do it is by shifting away from a defensive, "I have no idea," and leaning into humble inquiry. "That's an interesting question. What do you think?" It's brilliant because you show humility without ever sounding incompetent or dismissive. And more importantly, you instantly open the door for collaborative reflection. You're inviting the other person to participate, essentially turning a moment of ignorance into a shared exploration. Next up, we're moving to the grace shifts. This section explores the often awkward art of receiving, which really requires a deep sense of internal empathy. When someone gives you a compliment, what's your automatic defense mechanism?
Usually it's to downplay it, right? Oh, it was nothing. Or I just got lucky. But look, receiving a compliment without that false modesty is a massive sign of emotional maturity. A simple, grounded response like, "Thank you, that means a lot," is a form of profound respect. It's respect for yourself, for sure, but also for the person who actually took the time to offer you that compliment.
Now here's a kind of wild analogy to think about when it comes to generosity. Imagine you spend hours cooking this massive, beautiful feast for a guest. When they look at the table and say, "Wow, there is way too much food here," what do? If you immediately fall into the trap of apologizing and making excuses for being too generous, you are actually making your guest feel guilty for your own hospitality. So if a guest comments on how much you've prepared, there is absolutely zero need to apologize. Instead, hit them with this incredibly warm shift. You deserve to enjoy it. True generosity doesn't need to be justified. It simply shows itself. This thoughtful response expresses a genuine pleasure in sharing, and it guarantees your guest feels cherished rather than feeling like a burden.
Finally, let's tie all of these distinct little shifts together. Whether it's casual interactions, projecting competence, or receiving grace, there is a foundational Stoic principle that makes every single one of these phrases work so well.
And that core principle is incredibly simple. Speak with intention. You see, speaking well isn't about memorizing smart phrases or trying to use complex $10 words to impress people. It's literally just about deliberate awareness. Every single phrase you use creates an impression. By just making these small, daily choices of awareness, your conversations are going to feel calmer, your relationships will become much more respectful, and your overall presence will naturally reflect a total sense of balance.
Which brings us to a final, pretty provocative thought to leave you with today. Are your daily words actually reflecting the person you are becoming? Building this habit of intentional reflection can quietly but powerfully transform how you think, how you speak, and ultimately how you live. So take back control of those autopilot scripts. Speak with intention. You might be completely surprised to see just how quickly it raises your status and deepens your peace of mind.